The studio lights flared bright over the glossy floor of the View's set, and the buzz of the live audience hummed like electricity. It was one of those episodes that promised both warmth and unpredictability. Everyone was on edge, not because of controversy, but because Michael J. Fox, one of Hollywood's most beloved figures, was making a rare daytime appearance. Producers had hyped it up all week, teasing a conversation about resilience, hope, and his continued work for Parkinson's research. What no one could predict was how the morning's easy charm would transform into something tense, raw, and unforgettable. As the theme music faded, Whoopi Goldberg's familiar voice carried through the studio. Welcome back, everybody. We have a true icon joining us today. Actor, author, and humanitarian. Please welcome the one and only Michael J. Fox. The audience rose to their feet in instant applause. Michael walked in, his movements deliberate but confident, his smile sincere. He looked comfortable, dressed in a dark denim shirt and jacket, hands relaxed in front of him as he waved to the crowd. There was something magnetic about him, even after all these years. Not just the nostalgia of Marty McFly, but the quiet courage that had made his real-life journey resonate with millions. As he took his seat at the table, Joy Behar leaned forward, flashing her trademark mischievous grin. Michael, I think I speak for every woman in America when I say we all had a crush on you growing up. And some of us still do. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Michael chuckled, shaking his head. Well, I'll take that as the nicest compliment I'll get all week. The first few minutes went smoothly, light, funny, the kind of banter that daytime audiences adored. They talked about Back to the Future, about how he still couldn't go anywhere without someone jokingly asking if he had a time machine. Then the conversation shifted to his foundation and his work advocating for Parkinson's research. His tone changed, still warm, but grounded now, sincere. I've been living with Parkinson's for over 30 years, he said. When I was diagnosed, I thought my career, my life, everything I knew was over. But the thing I learned is that you can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you respond to it. And the thing that's carried me through every day is hope. The audience erupted in applause. Sunny Hostin nodded, clearly moved. Whoopi smiled in that deep, maternal way of hers. But Joy, ever the contrarian, tilted her head, curiosity flickering in her eyes. Hope is great, Joy said, crossing her legs. But isn't that kind of an easy thing to say when you're... Well, you've had success, love, fame, all things most people struggling with illness don't have. Isn't it a bit unrealistic to tell people that hope fixes things? The air shifted. Subtly at first, like a drop in temperature no one wanted to acknowledge. Michael looked at her, the faintest hint of surprise crossing his face. I don't think I've ever said hope fixes things, he said calmly. Hope doesn't cure Parkinson's. Hope doesn't take away pain. But it's the one thing that keeps you moving forward. Joy wasn't satisfied. She leaned forward again, her tone sharper. But don't you think that's a privilege? To have the time and resources to keep moving forward? A lot of people can't afford to wait for better days. The audience murmured uneasily. Whoopi glanced sideways at Joy. A warning look that said, "Be careful." Michael's expression stayed composed, but there was steel behind his words now. I get that. Believe me, I've met people who are living paycheck to paycheck and still fighting this disease. I've met people who have nothing, no insurance, no savings, and they still show up every day for treatment, for family, for themselves. Hope isn't privilege, Joy. Hope's all they have left. The audience clapped, louder this time, as if rallying behind him. But Joy pressed on. I just think sometimes celebrities forget what it's like for regular people. You've been blessed. I mean, look at you. You're inspiring, but you're also insulated. Michael's face tightened just slightly. He inhaled slowly, choosing his words. Joy, with all due respect, I've never been insulated from struggle. Parkinson's doesn't care how many movies you've done. It doesn't care about red carpets or awards. When you're shaking so hard you can't hold a glass of water, when you wake up wondering if today's the day your legs give out, you're not thinking about privilege. You're thinking about survival. The clip went viral before the end credits of The View had even finished rolling. Social media lit up like a brush fire. Within an hour, Michael J. Fox was trending worldwide, accompanied by short clips and looping GIFs of his calm but firm takedown of Joy Behar. The internet had taken sides with ruthless speed. One side hailed him as a symbol of dignity, the man who'd stood his ground with grace. The other accused the View of being cruelly combative. Comment sections flooded with reactions. Joy owes him an apology. Michael J. Fox just gave a masterclass in humility. That was hard to watch. Backstage, the mood was drastically different. In the green room, Michael sat in a small armchair, his jacket folded neatly over one arm, his expression distant. His wife, Tracy Pollan, was by his side, calm and protective. She reached over, squeezing his hand. "You okay?" she asked softly. He smiled faintly, eyes still fixed on the floor. "Yeah, I didn't expect that. I thought we were going to talk about the foundation, not my privilege." Tracy sighed. "You handled it better than anyone else would have." He chuckled once dryly. "Maybe, but I hate walking away. Feels like I failed to get the point across." Before she could respond, a producer appeared in the doorway, looking tense. "Michael, I just wanted to say thank you for being here today. We're sorry about how that went down. Sometimes Joy gets passionate." Michael looked up at him, his voice calm but heavy. "Passion's fine. Disrespect isn't." The producer swallowed and nodded. Understood. Meanwhile, in another hallway, Joy Behar was pacing. She'd done plenty of controversial interviews before, but something about this one felt different. The tension hadn't been playful. It had been real, uncomfortable. And worse, it was already blowing up online. "Joy, don't look at Twitter," one of the assistants said. "Too late," she snapped, her eyes glued to her phone. "Oh, for crying out loud. They're making it sound like I attacked the man." Whoopi appeared behind her, arms crossed. "You kinda did," she said evenly. Joy turned, exasperated. "I was asking a question. Isn't that what this show is about? Discussion? Debate?" Whoopi took a slow breath. "Sure, but there's a difference between debate and dismissing someone's experience. You weren't debating him. You were questioning the reality he lives with every day." Joy opened her mouth to respond, then shut it again. Whoopi's voice was calm, but the weight of it was undeniable. "You don't have to agree with him," Whoopi continued, "but you gotta know who you're talking to. That man's been through hell and came out smiling. You don't take swings at someone like that for sport." Joy set her phone down on the counter, her reflection glaring back from the mirror. "It wasn't for sport. It was," she paused. "It was supposed to be about perspective." "Then next time," Whoopi said, "try leading with empathy instead of ego." For a long moment, neither spoke. Joy sat down, rubbing her forehead. The weight of public reaction was already sinking in. She knew she had crossed a line, not necessarily in what she said, but how she said it. Across town, Michael's car moved quietly through Manhattan traffic. Tracy glanced over at him as the city blurred by the window. "You know they're going to spin this however they want," she said. Michael smirked softly. "They always do. I'm not worried about spin. I just hope someone watching today heard the right part, the part about hope." She smiled. They did. You could feel it. By the time they got home, Michael's phone was buzzing nonstop. Texts from friends, messages from co-stars, interview requests from every major outlet. He ignored most of them until one message stood out, from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Joy. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I pushed too hard. You didn't deserve that." Michael read it twice before responding. "Thanks, Joy. I appreciate it. Maybe someday we can talk again, without cameras." He set the phone down, exhaling deeply. "That'll be the end of it," he said quietly. But of course it wasn't. The more wisdom than you've read. Back at The View, the producers held an emergency meeting. PR executives sat at the table, laptops open, faces grave. "We need to issue a statement," one said. "This is spiraling too fast." Whoopi, who rarely attended these meetings, spoke up. "If Joy's gonna apologize, it has to come from her, not the network."